few months on the job now. What's your experience been like recruiting as a member of the Ducks?
Oh, it's been great. Just being here, being connected with the staff. Some of the guys we've been able to recruit. I think we've been able to create some momentum both in 25 and 26. So it's been fun, man. Just learning how they do things here, just learning the landscape of the team of Eugene, and just being able to share that with recruits has been awesome.
Realize it's still 5 months of signing day, Rashad, but when you've been getting some of the recruiting wins you have geographically and against some of the teams and coaches that you've been getting, what does that feel like?
It feels normal. I think that's what Dan expects of me. That's what I expect of myself. So, it's part of the job. That's what I came here to do, to be able to sign some of these guys, bring in a different landscape, bring in guys from Texas and win recruiting battles. It's a part of the job at this level, and it's an expectation for me. It's the standard for me. It's the standard that Dan expects from me. It's why he brought me here.
You didn't recruit Dink, but he's now been here for a little bit. Can you give us a kind of a feel for that, and maybe with the learning process, when a guy you don't maybe know a lot about when he arrives?
Yeah, Dink's been awesome to work with, man. He's a sponge, so he spends extra time. He's the last one to leave every day. He's the first one in meetings. He's asking questions. He's getting better every day. He's asking where can he get better. For what I'm impressed with Dink for a young guy is his ability to communicate, his ability to talk about his weaknesses, where he needs to get better. It's been really impressive for him, and he's still got some growing to do, but he's grown so far since he's been here.
Dan called, not Dan, Will called Jaden Lamar just a guy that people are sleeping on. What have you just seen from Jaden?
Jaden's Mr. Consistent. He's a grown man. I know he's young. We were talking about it yesterday. He's young, but he has a process about everything he does. He's very well thought out. He's very articulate in the film room. So I think you know what you get from that guy, and it's hard to count out a guy who's consistent, who shows up every day and works. You know what you're going to get from him. He's finished his runs. He's tough. He can add some value in the third down game. So Jaden is a guy, you keep your eye on, and as he continues to grow, as his game continues to grow, as it continues to slow down, sky's the limit for Jaden.
What are you expecting out of Noah here before the season, Rashad, in terms of, will he be live on these Saturdays? Are you going to get him back into a game-like scenarios, or is he going to be no contact until we get to the season?
Yeah, he's been fine out there so far. I don't know if I can speak on whether he's going to be contact or no contact, but for Noah, we talk about it all the time. It's the mental process. Coming back from an injury, the most important part is the mental, right? I think he's back. I think he feels good. He has some spurts where you can see some of that dynamic ability. Just getting over that mental block for him, which he's been working to get over, and he's been doing a great job. Today was one of his best days, catching the ball and running through contact and being able to do some different stuff. So I'm excited to see Noah. I told him when I got here, I was like, you're the guy that I don't get to see every day. You're the guy that I always hear about, how explosive he is. I saw it on tape. So it's been fun, watching him do it out on the practice field a little bit.
You had an idea about what this room would be like when you took the job back in spring. Now that you've been here for a few months, has anything surprised you about the players in this room?
No, the toughness these guys have, how these guys have taken to me, I've really appreciated, and how they've let me coach them, how coachable they've been. I won't say it's a surprise, but it feels good when you walk into a room of guys who had a coach, they had a really good connection with, and we're able to build a connection also, so we stay out, we stay and go hang out after practice, whether it's going to eat, we go get dinners, and they show me some places around town that they like to eat at. So it's been great, the connection we've been able to have and establish together as a room. That's been the fun part about this group. They're very open, and they want to get better, man. They ask questions all the time. They ask about my experience in the league. They ask about what they can do to, enhance their game. They ask about taking notes, the whole process. And it's impressive when you get a room full of guys that's that thoughtful about the process.
Going off of that, just being a younger coach, being in charge of this room, a lot different than kind of what they had before, but still had a great connection with that other running backs coach. How would you describe your relationship being a little bit different with them, being so young?
Yeah, I don't see it as any different. I think leadership is ageless. So, when I walk in that room, I command the room. They respect me. I have respect for them. We talk at a level. When it comes to the game at a high level, I expect them to articulate at a high level. I expect to hold them to a standard every single day. I expect them to do exactly what they're told to. And that's the relationship we have in that room. And, those guys have been able to embrace me as a coach. And I think my experience in the league, kind of showed me that. When you get in the room, I got a chance to coach Malcolm Brown, who was a lot older than me. He was 30, actually, when I was a 28-year-old coaching the NFL and from Texas. And I got to watch him. And, having to lead that guy, and I still have a relationship with him, and he called me back and was like, your leadership to me was invaluable. And so It's no different relationship. We go in the room and we work.
Because Bucky had a bit of a unique skill set, Rashad, who's the best receiver of this group? Because we haven't necessarily seen each of them in a game capacity in that way, because of what he did. So
yeah, they all do different things. Noah has a great feel for space. He has a great feel for understanding how to run option routes. Jaden has a whole aspect of understanding when it comes to third down, when it comes to coverages, when it comes to zone. Jordan James is a hard person to tackle on the perimeter when he catches the ball. I mean, he's a little demon out there. So they all do different things in the pass game. The goal for us to round out our room, and that's one thing we talked about, me being a receiver coach, playing receiver, just becoming better pass catchers and overall receivers in the room. Jordan James had a rep today, and he immediately sprint off and was like, we got to do some extra receiver drills. I want you to, spend some extra time with me catching the ball, doing some receiver indie. So, everybody brings a different aspect. I think we want to just round out the group where, you look at all those guys and they can split out and be multifaceted backs.
There's been a lot of praise outside the program about Jordan James.
Yeah.
Why do you feel like he's ready to be, I'm not saying he's going to be the starter, but that type of a role? Because he's never been running back one at the school yet.
I think he's determined, man. I mean, he's confident. He walks out there with a chip on his shoulder, but at the same time, he's coachable. He's hungry. He doesn't turn anything down. And we got a couple guys in that room like that. The thing you want, these days in a running back room is a stable of guys, because, you don't want a guy that you have to, the bell cow days are over in this game. You need a room full of really good backs, and that's what we're trying to establish. That's what we're trying to accomplish. And right now, I think we're working towards that. When you say Noah, Jaden, Jay, all the guys we got in our room, I mean, that they're attacking the process, and I think we got a couple starting backs that if they were on other teams, they'd all start.
We talked about building out a stable. Do you have a target number of guys you want to incorporate in this season, or how does that work for you?
Yeah, you want to have 3 or 4 guys. You want to have, a couple. You want to have 2 first and second down backs, essentially, right? You don't play them always like that. You want to have 2 guys that can be third down backs and understand the aspect of pass catching, how to pick up exotic blitzes, how to see the field, and you want 3 or 4 backs to be able to play, and right now we're working towards that. And I think by the time the season comes, we'll have 3 or 4 guys, if not more, that can come in and contribute and help this team.
You think that
Last question.
Jay Harris's attributes, what's going to allow him going from D2 to D1 at this level? That's a big jump.
Yeah. It's funny because Jay, as of lately, and this whole fall camp, Jay Harris has become really selfless. I think he's selfless. He's, kind of let his shell down. He's let his guard down with me. Spend a lot more time with me. He's starting to ask questions. He's really trying to take the process by the horns, and it's been showing on the field. Today was probably one of his better practices. So, he got to attack the process and understand that the game's a little bit different, but at the end of the day, it's football. And, as long as you understand your assignment, know what you're doing, and you can compete at the highest level, eventually you'll get to where you're supposed to be if you got the talent. It's just about that will and want to, and Jay has both.
Thank you, Coach.